We now return to Let's Play Coteries of New York. Let's go rest. Oh boy. Oh boy, there's a lot of stuff here. Well, I'm kind of tempted to try some of this new stuff, but maybe we should go tie up some loose ends. I don't know how long these side quest things are. Let's go check in on our friend here. Gift that keeps on giving. It's been a while since you heard from D'Angelo. Maybe he's busy, sticking his nose where it doesn't belong. Or maybe he pissed off the wrong people and is now rotting in a ditch somewhere. Either way, it's a good time as I need to check up on him. I guess. What else is this stuff? A nosy reporter, part 1. There's a sleazy reporter from a gossip magazine sniffing around Sophie's Haven. She could use your help with the problem. Somebody's watching me, part 1. Recently you're feeling as if somebody keeps tailing you. Time to confirm your suspicions. We did actually have that. There was someone peeking at me on my way to the apartment. I wonder if not dealing with these has consequences later down the road. Faith and Myth, Part 2. Benoit Segal wants to meet you again at the cathedral. You wonder whether that mysterious priest will be there. Okay. And then otherwise, Juno and Agathon. Juno, the notes? You find the mystery of Agathon's research tantalizing enough to pay him a visit. Let's not do that yet. Let's actually do Somebody's Watching Me. Let's see where this goes. It's going to probably be a short little encounter then if it's like this. Someone is following you around. Has been for a few nights, maybe longer. That can't be a good thing. The only question is what to do about it. Well, this isn't exactly what I think a hothead would do. Probably be a little more aggressive. This is, I mean, we're not really good to Sophie if we need to come crawling every time we got a problem. So let's provoke the stalker to appear. This might break the masquerade a little bit. You venture out to the street with the goal of letting your stalker know you're aware of being followed. It's time to stop this ridiculous charade. It's raining outside, and as you step onto the street in front of your haven, you wonder whether that'll help you. Whether. You will be able to see the footprints of your stalker in... Will you be able to see footprints of your stalker in puddles on the ground? Not sure where to start, you slip a few bills to a homeless man and chat up the guy who runs the local bodega. Both of them talk your ear off about strange characters hanging around, but none of their stories seem right to you. Walking the streets, you're convinced by turns that everyone you see is an enemy agent out to get you, and that your stalker has decided to take the night off. Frustrated after a couple of hours of useless searching, you cross the road without looking where you're going. A courier on a motorbike zooms towards you, and has no time to brake or swerve as you suddenly step in front of him. For a split second your eyes meet those of the man on the bike, and you both know you'll collide. You'll get hurt. Something hits you, pushing you forward. You tumble, flying to the sidewalk as the courier zooms past. You feel a weight on your back, catch a glimpse of something. A person, female you think, and then she disappears. You could spend a couple more hours trying to find the woman who's been stalking you, but in your shriveled undead heart you know it to be futile. She's gone. Okay, well, that was very brief. Okay, now let's go check in D'Angelo here. Make your way through the now familiar rusty maze of the grain terminal and up the stairs to D'Angelo's office. This time, however, you find the room firmly locked. Hold on a minute. My stupid microphone cord keeps rubbing. Okay. There's a note pinned to the door. You rip it off and scan the crooked lettering. There's been another one. At the scene now. Come to... Bedstuy? Wait, what? Bedstuy? Corner of Pulaski and Garvey. ASAP. Well boy, since that thing was up there since like 2 nights ago on the map, it's been waiting a while. Looks like D'Angelo could use your help. Better get going. As you approach the address D'Angelo gave you, a squad car passes you, sirens blaring. Following it, you make a turn from DeKalb Avenue onto Pulaski Street. Sure enough, the street is awash with red light, and there are 4 or so police cars parked on the nearest corner. Next to an ambulance, confirm that you're in the right place. You move closer to what appears to be a New York's finest convention, looking around in the hopes of spotting a familiar, if not altogether pleasant face. No such luck. True to his Nosferatu lineage, D'Angelo is nowhere to be seen. You stop on the sidewalk across the street, trying not to draw attention to yourself. All of a sudden, one of the cops standing by the entrance to the building looks straight at you. He does a double take, and you instinctively look away. Bad move, you think to yourself, as you notice him making his way toward you. Let's just wait for him to approach. Maybe he's a vampire, I don't know. Not allowing panic to set in, you stand your ground, doing your best ordinary citizen impression. The cop waddles across the street towards you, his sense of authority putting that extra spring in his step. You try to remain calm, even as he puts his hand on his holster. Shit, you can't help but mouth the word. This is about to get messy. Suddenly he stops, as if instinctively realizing that he was just inches away from a grisly demise. He waves at you dismissively and yells in a thick Brooklyn accent. Oh, crap. I'm not even going to try. Hey, there's an active crime. Here's an active crime scene. Be on your way. But I'm across the street, and there's a whole pile of people here, so... Relieved, but trying not to show it, you put on your grumpy New Yorker face and start to walk away. As you make your way past a dark alleyway, someone grabs you by the arm and pulls you into the shadows. If the smell of cigars and cheap cologne don't give him away, the gravelly voice sure does. Nice save. I mean, dumb to show your face around here in the first place, but still. Come on, I'm parked around the corner. Before you know it, you're sitting in the passenger seat of a busted old sedan parked half a block away, giving you a nice view of the public gathering. Or the police gathering, as the word actually is. We can take him. Do your shadowy, skulky thing. Let's be vampires. Hey, how about you do your shadowy, skulky thing? Maybe you can find some way to let me in from the inside. Shadowy, skulky thing? Jesus, kid. Childish phrasing aside, it's as good as an approach as any, I guess. Without another word, he gets out of the car and heads for a nearby back alley. You watch in silence as he disappears into the shadows. A minute passes, then another one, and another. You begin to worry. What if there were more cops inside? What if your moldy partner has gotten himself in trouble? Suddenly, a shadowy silhouette appears in one of the windows on the second floor. Looks like he made it after all. At least, you hope it's him. The shadow waves at you and points to the corner of the building opposite the two cops. You get out of the car and quietly make your way towards the alley. Sure enough, you find that a fire escape ladder has been conveniently dropped for you. Good work, D, you mumble to yourself as you climb to the second floor. I guess we're not the kind of vampires that could just climb up a wall or jump really high. Did I not actually do that? Didn't I do that at one point? I thought I used my impressive physical abilities to leap at one point. Anyway, finding the crime scene proves easy enough. You just follow the yellow police tape, and before you know it, you're standing in the middle of what used to be someone's living room. The place has been completely trashed, knocked over furniture, shattered glass, the works. Looking around, you notice a sign scribbled on a nearby wall. It reads, "Is gift our fate?" You're no expert in typography, but the crooked letters look similar to the ones you saw back in Red Hook. Sure enough, there's very little in terms of blood, save for the occasional stain that's bound to end up on the carpet once you toss someone through a glass coffee table. D'Angelo leans against the doorway. He seems lost in his thoughts, sucking on his cigar compulsively and mumbling to himself. You lean over a bit, trying not to make it obvious that you're listening in. You manage to catch the last few lines of his monologue. Night's been kind to them so far, but the questions kept piling on, and now they've found themselves amidst the wreckage of another life. It was up to them to sift through the debris and come up with a neat little pile of answers. Suddenly he tenses up, as if sensing your eyes upon him. Feel free to chip in, kid. Anything catch your eye? No blood, same as before. Another piece of graffiti? I don't know. Oh, this one's very obvious. You can be like, no shit. No blood, same as before. At least none spilled. So what does that tell us? Might be the kindred we're after. This was a feeding. The killer is kindred. Might be the one we're after. Might doesn't make right. Let's not make assumptions until we see the body. Still, the pattern is consistent. God damn it, I hate where this is going. Well, I mean, Why, it looks like you were right. The thin blood angle seems to check out. It looks like you were right. Yeah, well, this time I'd rather be wrong, all right? Anyway, Looks like we're not getting any more out of this place. No way around it. We gotta see the body. Might well be prudent. In for a penny, in for a pound. Might as well be prudent. My thoughts exactly. The Duskborn have it as bad as it is. If I'm gonna accuse one of them of breaching the Masquerade, I want solid evidence, and I mean rock-fucking-solid. Luckily for us, I might know someone who could get us an audience with our dearly departed. To your surprise, he pulls out a cell phone, a busted old clamshell. He flips it open and spends a good minute browsing through the contacts, muttering to himself. Finally, he makes a call. Hey, you know who this is? Yeah. That favor you owe me? Time to deliver. Listen, I know you got a fresh one. The murder in Bed-Stuy. I don't know the actual pronunciation of that, as I have never been to New York, and have never heard the name. I need to take a look. Yes, now. Yeah, you'd better. And with that, he hangs up and gives you his trademark wry smile. Well, I don't know that they're forbidden. They just said they were frowned upon, right? All technology was frowned upon? Are we good? Yeah, we're good. Next stop, Kings County. Kings County, the bleeding heart of Brooklyn. It's beating as hard as ever, with ambulance after ambulance bringing in sick and wounded New Yorkers to be pumped through the tight arteries of the healthcare system. It's a dangerous place for a kindred to show their face, incessantly crowded and full of people who specialize in noticing all sorts of physical afflictions, especially the sort that make up the very essence of a vampire's existence. Wow. For instance, death. Thankfully, your business here tonight keeps you away from the hectic human life of the ER. Maybe we can snag some blood bags while we're here, though. And I don't mean the humans. Instead, you follow D'Angelo to a relatively quiet part of the underground parking lot that's closest to your current point of interest, the Kings County Morgue. Having found yourself a convenient and suitably unlit spot near the hospital wall, you wait patiently for D'Angelo's contact to appear. Every now and then you glance over at the undead gumshoe, as if to make sure his moldy mug isn't showing any signs of worry. It isn't, or at least he's very good at hiding it. Finally, after 30 minutes or so, a lone figure emerges from a side entrance. As the human-shaped shadow walks by, you're quick to recognize him as the EMT you saw back at the murder site. Clearly nervous, the 20-something-year-old redhead can't seem to help but look back and make sure no one is following him. Finally, he stops and lights up a cigarette. Without even looking in your direction, he takes a puff and exclaims, seemingly to no one in particular, "Room 112. You got 20 minutes." D'Angelo speaks without looking at you. That's our cue. You follow the fanged detective through the same door the EMT walked out. Luckily, his wing of the hospital seems unusually empty. Still, the confidence with which D'Angelo makes his way through the white and green corridors makes it clear he's been here before. Finally, he stops in front of one of the doors, room 112. That's your stop. The room is small, with only one oversized freezer by the wall and a single slab mounted in its center. Sure enough, the body of a middle-aged man is splayed out on its steel surface. Even for a dead man, he seems unnaturally pale. Extreme blood loss will do that to you. Try as you might, you can't help but look at the man's face, his features twisted in abject horror. This is not a peaceful death. Looking closely, you notice 2 small puncture wounds on the victim's neck. If ever there was a clearer sign of a vampire attack, you've yet to see it. Looking over at D'Angelo, you notice his lips moving in a familiar fashion. He's narrating again. Before he can utter an intelligible word, you cut in with a remark. Those marks on his neck, is that what I think it is? Yep, good eye, kid. It's official. Our killer is Kindred. Look at his face, though. Sheer terror. He was fully aware, all the way through. Killing aside, no Kindred worth their salt would allow that to happen. Unless they didn't even know better. This confirms it. We're looking for a thin blood. Fuck. As if on cue, the door swings open. A tired-looking man with a stethoscope around his neck walks in. With his eyes fixed on his clipboard, he doesn't appear to notice you. Yet. There we go. Letting your instincts take over, you pounce on the unsuspecting doctor, plunging your fangs into his aorta. The precious liquid tastes sickeningly sweet, making you feel a bit lightheaded. It appears the good doctor has been getting high on his own supply. I have a feeling that we are never going to get a clean feed. Like, everything is either going to be immensely risky, or everyone has got something in them. It takes you a moment to get your fill. When you're finally done, you immediately feel D'Angelo's eyes upon you. You start coming up with an excuse, but he just smirks. You're quick, kid. I'll give you that. Beat me to it by a pube. Now come on, let's get out of here. Time to pay our dear Primogen another visit. Robert Larson's home looks about the same as last time. No added security, no angry dogs prowling the yard. It appears that the thin-blood primogen would rather risk another visit from his old pal D'Angelo than arouse suspicion of his family and neighbors. Which is good, considering that's what he's about to get. Sure enough, the light in Larson's study is on, and you even catch a glimpse of the man himself shuffling around the room. You look over to D'Angelo, wondering how you're going to get Larson's attention this time. Without a single word, D'Angelo walks over to a nearby street lamp and leans against it, making sure he's visible to any and all who happen to look. Looks like time for subtlety is over. It only takes a couple of minutes for Larson to take notice. You see him lean against the window and storm out of the room. In mere seconds, he's out in front and in D'Angelo's face. Listen to me, you moldy fuck. I've had just about enough of your shit. You want to pester me, fine, but leave my family out of it. For a moment, D'Angelo just stands there, motionless, allowing Larson to get his frustrations out. Suddenly, he grabs the thin blood by the collar, lifts him off the ground, and smashes his back against the lamppost. Are you finished? All right. Now you listen to me, and listen good. You think I'm enjoying this? You think I like to be jerked around? You think I got nothing better to do than hang around this little puppet theater you've made for yourself? Now, either you give me a lead I can follow, or I'll start remembering things you'd rather forget. For the first time since you met him, Larson looks speechless. His eyes wide with fear, he can only mutter under his breath. You wouldn't dare. Try me. Cue awkward silence. You stand there, shifting your eyes from one vampire to the other. Guess it's time to either press the advantage or play the good cop. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of hot-headed, right? And I think there's this thing, too, amongst the vampires, and I could totally be mixing mythologies and universes and everything, but it's like a thing, like the whole blood in the water thing that leads to a shark frenzy. I think vampires kind of get the same way, where, like, tension and rage and whatnot is contagious? Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Maybe we should do bad cop, good cop, though. We kind of did that last time, right? Like, he was upset with D'Angelo being there before, and then I was there, and he was like, okay, I'll come down. Let's play good cop. Let's see how this pans out. Take it easy, D'Angelo. Let's not make a scene. Why not? I like making a scene. It's not like we're getting shit done. Might as well make a show of it. If you want my help, put me the fuck down. With his feet back on the ground, Larson straightens his collar in a faint attempt at preserving some shred of dignity. There's a place in Manhattan, Lower East Side, one of the few places in the city where my people can find shelter. Yeah, I know it. If you go there right now, you might find what you're looking for. D'Angelo stares at him for a moment, just long enough to make it uncomfortable. We'd better. Finally, D'Angelo loosens his grip. You both watch Larson limp back to his house, looking back over his shoulder like he's going to tell the teacher on you. You look at your partner, meaning to ask what the whole things you'd rather forget deal was. As if sensing your curiosity, D'Angelo cuts in with a preemptive mutter. Come on, we got what we came for. As you reach the address Larson gave you, you find yourself standing in front of what looks like an old garage. On the outside, the place looks as uninteresting as it gets. You'd think it abandoned, if not for the few barely working lights illuminating its shabby facade. Once you're inside, however, if ever there was a place worthy of being called a wretched hive of scum and villainy, this is probably it. The room is littered with drunks and crackheads, human and thin blood alike, their minds lost in their cruel little worlds, their bodies splayed out across the floor. D'Angelo leans over and whispers in your ear, I'll cover the back door. You stay near the front. Let's look around and see what we can find. Before you ask what exactly you're supposed to be looking for, D'Angelo disappears into the shadows. Yeah, let's not, I know we're supposed to be a hothead, but this is a dumb idea, and we were told to do this quiet. So look around quietly. Doing your best to blend in with the crowd, which is fairly difficult considering your upright position, you slowly make your way across the large room. Not really knowing what you're looking for, you focus on the details, a knowing smirk, a hateful stare, anything that looks even the slightest bit suspicious. After a dozen or so empty stares, you're almost ready to give up, when suddenly something catches your eye. A young, skinny woman, hunched in the corner of the room. She gives you a bewildered look, a 1,000-yard stare that tells you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's her. As you walk towards her, D'Angelo emerges from the shadow right next to yours. Right next to you. Nice catch. He kneels down beside her. You can tell he's trying to sound as comforting as possible, but with his gravelly timbre, it's not really working out. Hey, it's okay. We're not here to hurt you. We just want to talk. No, don't talk. Too loud. Too loud. She seems halfway out of it. It's like the lights are on, but whoever's inside is stumbling around after one hell of a bender. All right. You like quiet? Got it. Can you tell me your name? Santa. That's what he called me. Suddenly you hear the door swing open behind you. Even though the night is fairly warm, a cold chill runs down your spine. You look towards the entrance. There's a woman standing there, and something about her just screams kindred. Could be the goth, could be the makeup, the fangs, glowing eyes. Even though she seems comically overdressed for the situation, somehow, you don't feel like cracking a smile. Whoever she is, you can tell she means business. She starts making her way to the back of the room, not making any effort to sidestep any of the junkies and drunks. They all know well enough to get out of her way. Acting out of bravery or sheer stupidity, you walk up to her. Could be both with this guy. She looks at you as if you were something she just scraped off her shoe. You smile nervously, without even knowing it. I mean, we're going to get in a fight either way, right? So let's just be cocky about it. Because that's who he is. He's terrible with women. I feel like this would be the perfect thing that he would do. Hey, what's a girl like you do in a place like this? As soon as you open your mouth, her hand shoots out, grabbing you by the throat. The woman looks at you, tilting her head as if examining a curious species of insect. Suddenly her eyes shift as she notices something behind you. Her face turns from disgusted curiosity to sheer annoyance. You. Hey, Val. That's my assistant you got there, do you mind? She rolls her eyes. You feel the grip on your neck loosen, and you awkwardly fall to your feet. She makes her way toward D'Angelo, pushing you aside like a rag doll. Where is she? You're gonna have to be a bit more specific, darling. Don't play coy, Ginny. Manslayer, I know she's here. A blood hunt has begun. By order of the prince herself, the girl is to meet her final death. We have not been looking at the terminology. Past couple episodes, I don't think. Hold your horses, honey. I'm conducting an investigation under the auspices of the sheriff. That counts for something, too. Look, sweetie, I'm not here for some clit measuring contest. You want this to get ugly? Be my guest. Otherwise, I suggest you step aside and let me do my job. By all means. He steps aside in a comically exaggerated fashion. You look at the corner where you last saw Santa, but find no trace of the girl. Well, I'll be. I could swear she was here, just here. Valerie looks at D'Angelo. She smiles softly, but you can tell she's trying very hard not to rip his head off. You'll regret this. Story of my life. Without another word, she turns on her heel and storms out. D'Angelo waves his hand in your general direction. Come on, kid. Let's get out of this shithole. As you emerge from the said shithole, you feel the cool night breeze caress your face. It's soothing and almost makes you forget how shitty the last few hours have been. Almost. Okay, kid, I know you've got questions, but it's getting early and I don't feel like having a Q&A session right now. For now, you get one question. Make it count. I mean, whilst I'm interested, this is not really important. What do we do now? Well, the sun's coming up, so we're going to break. And obviously he knows where the girl went. Or might not know, but she disappeared. Seriously, any time you got past with somebody, it's going to take more than the whatever few minutes he's giving me here, so we're not going to get much of an answer in any of this stuff, but sure, let's poke our nose where it doesn't belong. That's probably not going to... I don't know, though. In the back end of this game, is that going to increase our relationship with this guy if we start showing interest in him? Do we care? He's going to... I mean... These are almost obvious enough to know what the results are all going to be here. In dialogue, anyway. Ah, fuck it. Valerie, huh? So who the hell is she? She's a scourge. Okay, well at least we got something. She's a scourge, kid. Part enforcer, part assassin, all-around pain in the ass. If she finds that girl before we do, we'll never find out why she did what she did. And before you ask, yes, we've run into each other in the past. No, I don't feel like talking about it. Alright, kid, I don't know about you, but I'm turning in. I'll figure some stuff out and keep looking for our girl. Feel free to swing by the office in a night or two. A night or two, remember. And with that, he stumbles off into the distance, not even bothering to keep to the shadows. Can't say you blame him. It's really been a rough night. And it's time to rest. Okay, let's catch up on some of the stuff here. Oh, looks like we only... No, we are missing a few. Okay. Elder, a vampire who has experienced at least 2 or more centuries of unlife. Elders are the most active participants in the Jihad, a secret self-destructive war waged between ancient undead. Elder vampires, tend to manipulate their lesser kin, using them as pawns in a terrible game, the rules of which defy comprehension. A ghoul is a minion created by giving them vampiric vitae to a mortal without draining them of blood first. Regent. Every chantry has a regent. The regent is responsible for the tutelage of other Tremere in the domain. While the regent may not teach them personally, she must ensure all Tremere are being educated. The regent's other duties extend to the clan's protection of the domain, and sometimes its representation on the Primogen Council. Chantry, a traditional name for the Tremere headquarters in a city, usually part shelter, part library, part laboratory. Blood Hunt. A punishment sentencing a vampire to final death, the fangs of their peers, the code of the kindred, and the system for punishing transgression is the law of retaliation. And the Scourge, an executor, subordinated directly to the prince. And with that, we will end this one here, and I will see you next time.